So, today I want to talk about the astrology of creation, where the world came from, where the universe came from, if you're an astrologer, possibly. So, one or two things about creation myths. Humanity's always had them. I think it's good if you have more than one, because any creation myth is a story. The universe can be looked at in as many ways as you like. We're used to having just one creation myth. We had the biblical one, and that was how it actually happened. And then that sort of fell apart. Things come apart. The center cannot hold, as the poet Yeats put it. Yeah, when God died, as Nietzsche declared. And now we've got another one instead, which is the materialistic explanation, and that is how it actually happened. So we have just one story. There's a Chippewa Cree guy that I used to know, and I said, "Don't your people get fundamentalist about their creation myth?" And he goes, "No, we have more than one, and they contradict each other." I thought, well, that's really good. That's what you need. That's why I think if both evolution and creationism are taught in schools, I have criticisms of both, but at least children are being presented with two stories. We've got used to being fundamentalist in the West. Science continued that tradition that Christianity had given us, that there's just one reality. So science, if there's more than one theory, they have to fight it out until they decide which one's true. So, as astrologers, it would be logical to be aware of the ancient Greek myths. There's one, creation myths. There's one in which the goddess of all things arose from chaos, but she could find nowhere substantial to rest her feet. So she divided the sea from the sky and then danced lonely on the waves. And it goes on from there. She creates this serpent and the wind, and all these things come out of that. What's unique about our modern creation myth is it doesn't have a miraculous beginning to things. There's no magical miracle. It's just a materialistic explanation, and that's probably wouldn't surprise me if that's the first time in history that there's been a creation myth that doesn't have magic in it. So I say, if I'm pushed, if I have to make a choice between the Bible and the Big Bang, I'll choose the Bible, even though I don't necessarily believe it that firmly, because at least there's magic in it, at least there's miracle in it. And you can't live, your spirit cannot live, not properly, without that. That has to come first. Anyway, so I'm going to introduce a bit of astrology into the Big Bang. This is my theme for today. The Big Bang. Well, officially, it's got no magic in it. It's got no miracle in it. But as Terence McKenna said, he said, everything suddenly coming out of nothing. If that isn't a miracle, I don't know what is. So he's right. He's right. Everything coming out of nothing. We just sort of ignore that. We ignore the magic, but actually it's there. And the way he also says, he says about science, science's attitude is, give us one free miracle and we'll explain the rest. Yeah. So that's all they need. Let's just put the Big Bang aside and we can explain the rest. So it is actually miraculous, and a way of looking at it using the outer planets is this. Because the outer planets are they're the kind of collective ones. They're the major ones that create a pattern within which the inner planets find their being and find their life and find their callings. So think about it. First of all, you've got nothing. Zilch. No time, no space, no light, no darkness, no nothing. And Uranus is there. The gods are there, though. The gods are there because the gods are outside of time. So they're always there. It's just we need something for us strange things called humans to live in. So we need a universe. So Uranus has this brilliant idea for a universe. No one's ever had it before. Uranus is the one who has brilliant ideas. He brings in something that was never there before, that isn't just a rearrangement of the old. This is the function of Uranus generally in life. So he says, let's have a universe. And he lights the blue touch paper. And out of this tiny seed, there's this massive power starts to expand. And that, of course, is Pluto. The power of Pluto from a tiny seed, like the nucleus of an atom that contains something like 50,000 more times energy when you can release it than the electrons, the purely chemical reaction. So Pluto, this enormous power. And then Neptune, the image of a universe. So it's very simple, really. Yeah, Uranus lights the blue touch paper, Pluto provides the power, Neptune provides the image of a universe. And of course, it has continued since then. The universe keeps expanding and unfolding. It has that continual Plutonian power. It's, as one physicist has said, the universe isn't just stranger than we imagine, it's stranger than we can imagine. And as another one, I think it was Freeman Dyson said, nature's imagination is bigger than ours. And well, the universe has been discovered, 96% of it is missing. We just don't know what it is. So we call it a thing, which somehow makes us think that we know something. And of course we don't. All we're saying is we don't know what 96% of the universe is about, because we try to investigate it rationally. And rationality takes you so far, it produces certain results, but you push it so far and the trickster comes in and says, these are your limits. So you go as small as you can and you get quantum physics and it explodes in irrationality. You investigate as large as you can, the whole universe, and 96% of it goes missing. So that's wonderful. It does show the limits. But this isn't just a pretty myth, because it is also illustrative of how Uranus and Neptune and Pluto, not only do they continue like that in the universe at large, continually unfolding, continually inventing, but, and the life forms as well. Yeah, there's huge inventiveness, all these life forms that come up, and they're so beautiful. They have the beauty, Neptune's beauty, and Pluto's renewal. Life is always renewing. So these three principles that we find in the universe and we find in the life generally around us, and we also find in ourselves in our own life. So Uranus is always coming along and trying to shake us out of those narrow tram lines, those comfort zones that we try to live along, by bringing in something new that isn't just a rearrangement of the old, something you hadn't thought of. And that's probably our function as astrologers, because we're ruled by Uranus. And then Neptune in our lives, that ensoulment, yeah, that imagination that we need to live from. Yeah, we get depressed if our imagination isn't alive, because it's such an important part of us. In a way, we get depressed if we don't have a creation myth that's got magic in it. Yeah. And then Pluto. Life is always moving on. There's usually something old in our life that is starting to wane. We need to recognize that and let it go, and not hang out of familiarity, out of insecurity, and allow that the power of that new thing to come. Pluto will not be stopped. Neptune will not be stopped. Uranus will not be stopped. So maybe as astrologers, think of the beginning of the universe in terms of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, because that accords with how we're living, with the system through which we're describing life to people. And of course, well, Saturn probably comes in there as well. He brought in time. He brought in a bit more order and structure. It made things real in a way that they weren't before. So I'll stop there and leave it there for now. See you next time.